Hi everybody, it's Cindy the Scrapologist. Welcome to video number, I think this is video number 5 of how to make a gatefold hybrid album. And so, I can't remember if I told you this in the last video. I did tell you that I had torn that my paper in the gusset here tore, so I had to take this off and I put craft text here, and I actually like that better. I should have just done that in the first place. The other thing I did off camera is I lifted this back up with undo. If you don't know what undo is, it's this awesome stuff that if you make a boo-boo, it has this little thing here and you can stick it under there and it helps lift up your adhesive. Doesn't work with glue, but it works with double-sided tape. So I lifted this back up and I did put 2 magnets, one here and one here, because as I had mentioned in the last video, I'm going to put some faux straps that come down here, kind of like you would see on a briefcase, and it's going to kind of mush it down a little bit, not too much, but I'm going to have 2 straps and they're going to be magnetized on the end. So I lifted this back up and put 2 magnets. So let me tape this back down. Actually, there's enough tape left on there to just put it back down. There we go. Okay. And then in the last video we made this cute little insert. Oh, come here. My dog wants to sit up on my chair. Let me get her up there. So one of the things that I made is a little closure that's going to go around, and this is also going to close with a little magnet. So this little thing measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 1 inch, and then I rounded the corners on one side, and I scored it. I made a 1/4 of an inch gusset, so I scored it at 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch. Okay, so and then I put some double-sided tape on. And so we could decorate first and then put this on, but I don't really care to have this show. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on. That's going to go there. Got way too much tape. Tape was sticking out a little bit. I don't want it to all stick to each other. Okay. And then I really don't know why I put tape there. That was silly, because I'm going to put a magnet. Right now I'm just using these basic gray magnetic discs. I don't even know if basic gray is still in business, actually. These are old, and I'm just using up my supply. They're really hard to get out of here, which is one of the things I never liked about them. Okay. And actually, since I have the tape there, I'm just going to go ahead and tape that down, because I am going to cover this with some patterned paper. So actually, why don't I do that now, because I've got all that tape showing. Well, no, I don't have to. I'll do it later. Okay, and then usually how I put my magnets on is I put the second magnet on the first magnet, put a pop of glue on it, and then just put it where I want it and let it dry like that. And actually, I'm going to put a little something in here because I don't want this to be closed all the way. I want it to be popped up a little bit. So let me find something. This will work, I think. Beautiful book cover. It's leather with gold. I'm going to be making a journal out of this. The Gift of Friendship. It's a book from the 1800s, from 1853, I think. But anyway, it's on my desk. I have a little pile of projects that I want to work on. Put that under there. Okay. Make sure it's where I want it. Okay, and then I'll just put something on top of this and let it dry. And then once the glue is dry, I just carefully pry the magnets apart, and it helps the magnet to be in place, in the proper place. Let me put my little magnets away. I think I'm done with these for now. Okay, so that's our little insert. Let's see. I had something to show you and now I can't find it. Maybe it's in this little stack of things. Oh, here it is. Libby, who is a follower of mine, a really nice gal. She makes a lot of my projects, and she had a really good idea for the insert. Inside, in the tippy top, I should have shown you this before I glued it, I made a little tiny pocket for stamps, and she's got a bunch of cellophane envelopes. Actually, it might be from my kit. I sold these in one or two of my kits. I've been collecting stamps since I was a little kid, since the 1970s, and I have a bunch of these cellophane stamp envelopes. And she used one of these and put it in her album so the stamps don't stick. And great idea, Libby. I might still do that in here. We'll see. Okay, so since I totally embarrassed myself with doing math live last time, I did the math in advance. I figured out what I'm going to do. Sorry for the shadow. It's snowing again today, if you can believe it. Storm number 32. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm normally not cranky about the winter, but I'm done. I'm cranky about the winter. It's spring now, but winter is not ending. So anyway, sorry about the shadows. I don't have good light today. Let me see if I can adjust my camera lighting a little bit. But here's what I think we're going to do today. I have a whole bunch of ideas. You know what? This whole series is going to end up being quite long. There's going to be a lot of videos in this series, but I'm okay with that because a lot of the things that you don't have to be making this album, I think, to get things out of this series. For example, you might make that insert and put it in one of your junk journals or mini albums. You might make this accordion file folder pocket, and you might use some of the techniques that I'm going to do today. You might cover a book cover and sand it like I did here. So I think it's okay that there's going to be a whole bunch of videos in this series. So I'm just going to take my time with it and enjoy creating this and invent as I go along. But this morning before I made this video, I did come up with a couple of things because I already had the idea in my head and I wanted to do the measurements off camera because it stresses me out to measure in front of you all because I am so stupid terrible with fractions and decimals and all that. I have to just concentrate, have nobody be talking to me, nobody in the room in order to do any kind of math. So here's my idea. As you know, I'm making this into kind of a writer's travel kit. and I wanted to continue the theme of file folders. So I decided to make this, and it kind of looks like a file folder, but it's going to pull out like this, and probably make one on each side. And then I have some ideas for putting some pockets on the file folder and maybe inside here as well. In retrospect, I wish that I had done this before I put this paper down because the mechanism is going to show. So, and I ended up having to put this down too, so I will probably end up recovering this once I'm done. But I already did the measurements for this, and let's do, should we do two? I think we should do two. I also almost made it a tri-fold so that it would fold out 3 times, but I think that would be overkill. It would just be too wide. So we're just doing a little bifold file folder. So I'm making mine out of craft paper, and this measures 6 by 8.5. So let's cut a piece of paper 6 by 8.5. And let me get a tissue here. Excuse me, I'm going to try not to sniffle too much. I am coming down with a cold. And so it's going to be hard to not sniffle constantly into the microphone, but I'm going to try. I'm doing, I mentioned I'm doing The Wizard of Oz at the Opera House near me, and we've got 25 munchkins in this show. 25, I call them little sticky people. I love children, love working with them, but inevitably I get sick because they love to get their germs all over the piano, and I always forget and lick my finger to turn a page or something like that, and then I end up getting sick. But they're very cute and lots of fun to work with. Anyway, enough about my sniffles. So now we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And where did I do the other score? And 3 1/4 inches. Okay, 1/2 inch and 3 1/4 inches on the 6-inch side. And then I am using my envelope punch board. You know, I don't have a lot of gadgets, I will admit, in my craft studio. I have a few crucial things, and especially if I can get a bargain on them or they're not that expensive. I really feel like this envelope punch board is, from We Are Memory Keepers, is a good bargain. I use it constantly. There are so many things you can do with it. You can make file folders, envelopes, just all sorts of things. So I actually do, if you want just a cheap, by cheap I mean inexpensive gadget, this is something that you will get a lot of use out of. So I'm going to use my envelope punch board, but you can go through and take a file folder that you might have on hand and just use that as a template. And then I'm going to go about 3 inches here. Okay, so what you do is you put it in the corner here, and it gives you this nice little thing. And then I went over to 3 inches here and punched again, and it gives you that. So now I'm going to use my trimmer, and I'm just going to cut off this piece here. With my envelope punch board the other day, if I can pick it up, come here. I made a ton of these little file folders. See how it's got the groove on the top here and here? I just kind of went to town making a whole bunch of file folders with my scrap paper that I had, and I made this kind too. I like these. So yeah, you can do a lot of things with the envelope punch board. I don't get money back for What is that? I don't get money back for endorsing it or anything, but I just like it. Okay, and then we are going to fold this way for this side piece and this way for the top piece, so it ends up like this. And I'm going to use double-sided tape, and I'm going to stick it on the album. Make sure that's on there even before I stick it totally down here. Okay. Great. See how easy that is? Okay. So now it'll open up like this. And once we cover this and decorate it, it'll be a lot stiffer too. So that's what it will look like when it's closed. And I'm going to use this other one that I already made for the other side. No, I'm not, because it's going in the wrong direction. Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Yep. You know what I should have done? See, I always do this. I should have put the tab in the middle. I think I would have liked it better there. What do you guys think? I think it would have been more symmetrical to put it in the middle. Oh, decisions, decisions. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm going to leave it at the top because we have pockets that are going on the bottom. There are some other really cool things that I have an idea for that we're going to put at the bottom. So I'm going to commit to this. But it is easier if you're creating your own album to kind of think a couple of steps ahead. It will save you trouble in the long run. And I don't always do that. And then afterwards, like with putting this on, I should have just done that from the very beginning. And I use a lot of undo. I end up tearing things apart and changing my mind, but we're now married to this idea. Okay. So, I have a couple of ideas for pockets that we can put on this file folder flap. One thing I thought is we can do, I don't think I'll put it on the outside. I think on this flap right here, we're going to do a couple of little pockets. And I kind of cut it out so that it can be a nesting pocket. What happens is this pocket nests inside the other one. And so we'll have a double pocket here. And then the other thing I thought of was I cut out a bunch of these with my Silhouette Cameo. And I really like these. So I think what we're going to do is make a mini version of this. And then I'm losing everything here. Let's see. Somewhere I don't know where it went. Somewhere I had a little piece of acetate. And then so what we'll do is we'll put a little piece of acetate here, and it'll be a clear pocket, because my idea was, and I'm going to be giving you some freebies with this throughout this course here and there. And one of the things I'm going to do is give you all a printable vintage calling cards. Remember how people used to have calling cards that they would, in the Victorian days, that they would hand you when they visited? And I thought it would be really nice to have some calling cards in here. It totally fits with the theme. So we're probably going to put that pocket in here. I don't know what we're going to do with the left side yet. I also have an idea for another insert. So we'll see how much we get through today. We've done this, and let's do our nesting pockets. You want to cut 2 of these out at 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. Cut 2 out. And I'm not using those because these are the wrong size. I discovered what size I needed after I already cut them. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. And I have things falling on the floor here. And I need to get another piece of... I'm under my desk now, getting another piece of paper, scrap paper, for this little pocket. Do I have any scrap paper left? I made so many of those file folders. Here's a piece. 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. Here's one. Here's 2. And then on the 3 1/2-inch side, you're going to score 2 sides at 1/2 inch. Whoops. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. Turn it. 1/2 inch. So again, 3 1/2-inch side, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. Turn it. 1/2 inch. And then just like I told you the other day, whenever you see these squares, you want to miter them. Those come off. Actually, just do one, because the second nesting one is a little bit different. On the nesting one, you want to come up about 2 inches from the bottom edge. Oh, there's my little piece of acetate. It was on my mat, but I couldn't see it. Come up about... This ruler is getting so... all the black is getting worn off. Sometimes I have a hard time figuring out what my measurements are. Let's see, come up about 1 1/2 and make a line. And then cut down from that line to at an angle, like this, and like this. And then put your tape on. Again, I did this yesterday too. I should probably put my tape on first, but that's okay. On this nesting pocket, you only need tape on the 2 sides. Fold them all in. Make sure my measurements were correct. Yay! Okay, and let's put down our little pocket. I'm actually going to ink it before I put it on, just in case. Don't know how I'm going to decorate it yet, but just in case. Okay, then the second one, you just fold in these flaps. And then, what did I do? Oh, I didn't miter it properly. Sorry. You want to miter like this. I didn't do that right. I didn't go up high enough. There we go. That's really crooked. It's okay. It's going to stick in there like that, and then we have two nice pockets. And burnish, make sure it's on there nice and good. There. Okay, so now we have a couple of little pockets in there. Now the other one that is my idea for a calling card pocket that we're going to put in here. Pretty sure I did my measurements correctly on this one. So the average calling card is 3.5 by 2. So I was trying to make this, yeah. So this is 3.5 by 2.25. So two and a quarter or 2.5? 2.25. So there's enough room to put calling card in here. So this piece of paper here is 3.25 by 4 inches. Okay, 3.25 by 4 inches. And then I scored it at 1/2 inch on the long side, 2 on the long and 1 short. And then we're just going to miter because we've got these squares here. Oh, no, I don't want to tape this yet. Okay, so to do the cutout in the middle, cut out another piece of paper that is 1 3/4 by 3, and round your corners with whatever round tool you have. And we're going to use this as a template. Now, what I would do, honestly, if I were just making this alone, is I would use my Silhouette Cameo and do this, but in a smaller version. Because with the Silhouette Cameo, I can adjust the size of this, and I'm probably going to do that because I'm going to end up selling this, more than likely. But I'm trying to show you because I think most of you probably don't have a Silhouette Cameo, so I'm just showing you a way that you can do it on your own. And I'll make sure that's really super. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the back so it doesn't move around. Excuse me. Get a sip of water here. Okay, and then trace around your little template. And then I'm going to use my, this is probably so dull. I don't know when was the last time I changed the blade, but we'll see. Then I'm just going to use a knife, an X-Acto knife, and trace this out. Actually, this blade is working pretty well. You know what? I have the wrong glasses on. It might help if I put on my my other glasses. I'm totally off the lines here. Oh my goodness. Trying to fix it. There we go. So I don't know if you can see me, but I've got my paint shirt on. It's just such a yucky cold day out, and so I took a shower, but then I just put on my paint clothes, sweatpants, and an old paint t-shirt, and I'm as comfy as can be. It's just not a motivating kind of day. We're so tired of the winter. Okay. And let me just fix my boo-boo here a little bit. And if it's not completely smooth, you can take a nail file and kind of go through the middle. My blade was kind of sharp, but I have a little bit of jaggedies here. Okay. And I'm going to flip it over and use the other side because some of my pencil marks are showing on the other side. I'm going to just try to make this a little neater. Like that. And I'm out of acetate. I only have this one little piece left and it's not big enough. And it's got glue all over it and tape. But what I'm going to do, probably off camera, is put a little bit of adhesive on 4 sides here, and then glue the acetate to my pocket. And then it'll be a nice little see-through pocket. And I fold the edges in. It will go on. Looks a little messy now, but once you get the acetate on there, it will go here. Burnish it down. It's not flat. Okay, so that will go there, and then I'll give you some little Victorian calling cards that we can put inside here. I could have made this bigger, actually. Let me give you another size. If you don't like this size, yeah, because this is a little narrow. If you make this and you think it's too narrow too, let me give you different measurements. You could cut this at do we have another 1/2 inch? Let's see. Yeah, you could cut this at 3 3/4 by 4 1/4 if you wanted to make one that's a little wider. We've got lots of extra room here. So that's an alternative size for you. So that's going to go there. And we've got our nesting pocket here. Not sure what I'm going to do here yet. Sorry, why am I all the way up there? And I'm wondering if we need some kind of a little closure too for these, because these are kind of popping up. So I'm going to think about that. Probably will need a closure. thinking about it. Okay, so that's what we've got there. How long is this video? 35 minutes. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop there. The next thing I'm going to work on is I have an idea for another insert for the inside here that kind of looks like a manila envelope. Let me think. I made a couple samples here. Let me see if this would fit. Actually, this is the right size. Okay, let's make another insert. Okay. This insert is just going to be something that opens up, and I'm thinking that this will hold our vintage postcard. So let me give you the measurements. "12 by 10.5. 12 by 10.5. And then we are going to score. Let me see what I did here. I've seen a lot of people making these. They're just so simple. So this is not my idea. Score at 3.5 and 8.5 on the 12-inch side. 3.5, 8.5. Flip it and score at 1.5 and 9. 1.5 and 9. And then very simply, you are going to cut out the 4 corner boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. For that, I like to use my metal ruler and my X-Acto knife. Sorry, I keep trying to adjust the lighting for this dingy day. There is 0 light coming in through my window. And by the way, there's a score with your score line. When you're cutting, cut to the bottom, not to the top or in the middle. Cut just below your score line, because when you fold this all up, you need just a little bit of wiggle room so that the little different flaps don't interfere with each other. So I usually cut just below the score line. This is hard for me to do without getting my head in the way. Sorry. I don't know if my head was just in the camera. That's crooked. Okay. Oh boy, I really went off the mark there. I'm going to have to fix that. Yeah, I'm not. Look how wonky that is right there. I was just trying to keep my head out of the way, and I was not evidently seeing what I was doing. I'm just going to go cut these. I think that will be easier. fix that. I can't wait till we get to decorating this whole little hybrid album here. I have so many ideas for what we can do. It's going to be fun. Just fixing all my boo-boos because I just wasn't, like I said, I couldn't see what I was doing. So I'm just trimming it up a little bit to make sure all my flaps fold. Okie dokie. If they don't fold correctly, then you just need to trim off a little bit more. Like I don't think this one's going to fold. This one I need to trim off just a little bit from here. There. And I think I'm going to round the corners on the whole thing, actually. I think it just neatens it up a little bit to round your corners, but if you prefer square, then definitely just leave it square. That's nice too. One thing of all this piano playing, I've been doing nonstop shows since November, and I'm just dropping things constantly because my hands are so tired. I notice in my videos I'm just dropping things all the time and having to pick them back up. There, so this is what we end up with. And we're going to put our vintage postcards in here probably and decorate this up. But I think I'm also going to get out a decorative paper clip just to remind myself that I want to do this. These are, I don't know, it doesn't have the brand name on them. Circular paper clips. And we'll probably have a vintage looking paper clip up there. Actually, like that. And we can have our postcards in there. And let me see if my other one has dried. And we've got our nice little, we'll pretend that we've got some envelopes or something in here. And our other little insert, yep, that's all dry. And that will fit in here. Well, I've got my book covers in there still, but maybe this one will go back here, and this one will go here. And can you imagine when they're all decorated, just how beautiful it's going to be? I love it. I think it's really coming together. Actually, this one's taller, so it probably should go back here. Oops. It wasn't dry. Let me slip my books out. Book covers out. And this will go in here. Yes. It's going to be beautiful. I love it. All right. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. I have, gosh, I don't know if I want to do another insert because I had one more idea for an insert, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do for a closure here, and what if we're going to put anything on the outside of here, what we're going to do for pockets here. We've still got a little bit to do. I don't decorate the outside until the end, but I have an idea for what I'm going to do for this, a tentative idea. Oh, this is my, look, this is all my, just as I came up with ideas, I came up with the vintage calling cards today. Oh, a blotter. That's another thing. You remember the old ink blotters that they used to use? I have too many ideas that they're just not all going to fit in here. So I'm going to have to pare them down, or I'll just do them and you can decide which ones you want to put in here. What do you think? You tell me what you think. And that's it for today. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Convo me down below if you have any questions. I'd appreciate a thumbs up. I only need 2 more people until I'm at 500, and then big giveaway. So hopefully the next video will be a giveaway for you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.